Matthew 18:21-35. So Jesus says that you have to forgive 77 times, which a lot of pastors says that just means you don't stop forgiving. Forgive it as many times as you want. And then Jesus went and talked about this parable where there's a king who forgave a huge sum amount to one slave, but that slave does not forgive another slave who owe him much less. And so that is the parallel that God wants us to see, is that God has forgiven us a huge debt, the debt of our soul, our salvation, for which we cannot pay. So what is it to forgive people of their offenses for us? Those offenses are like little, if you can think of it as money, to be consistent with this parable, that it's little like amount owed to us. We've been forgiven a huge debt. Are we supposed to not forgive, not like forgive and forget that those small debt that other people owe us? The answer is no. And so it shows that we just keep on forgiving because we were forgiven much. So and then when I was talking about that, I remember the phrase, the verse, to him who has been forgiven more, he will love more. And I think this applies to that. When we know that we're forgiven a lot, we will love a lot, and it won't be hard to forgive many times. However, I think in a situation of abuse, things like that, we can forgive, but we don't have to stay there. We can forgive, but we can separate to just be safe for ourselves, our children, and just for us not to sin, like not to become bitter, not to become, and then for them not to be able to hurt us verbally, physically, spiritually, in any way. So I think it's wise to walk away from hurtful situations. That doesn't mean that we don't forgive. It just means that we're wise with what we do. And I believe strongly that we are all children of God, and so God loves each one of us, and God is not gonna let another person harm his child and be okay with that. And I said this to my mom, where I said, if my children are going down each other's throat, if they're hurting each other, they're fighting each other, as a parent, am I going to let that go and say, just love each other, or am I going to actually separate them? I'm going to physically separate them.